Yo! Welcome back to another video. Today, we're going over some Martin Garrix sound design for Vital. And before I begin, I just want to say I've created a bank of over 100 presets inspired by Martin Garrix, Area 21, and YTram. There's also a demo version as well, and it's all at klingmusic.com. So guys, check that out and let's get into it. All right, so I'm going to preview about 20 or so of these sounds for you guys. And you guys can also, like I said before, check out the demo and the full version on the website. There's also more demos on there as well. If you guys want to skip through this part, just use the timestamps below. All right, so the first one we're going to be talking about today is the lead bang, and that sounds like this. And we all know where this one is from. So let's initialize this, go to the 3 lines up here, initialize preset. So to start off, I'm going to go over a couple things we need to touch on before we actually begin the sound. We're going to be utilizing both filters here, so you guys can put this right in the middle, put it right over here, and then we're going to make this a high pass. Then we can put this right around here as well. And we're going to be dialing in these filters at the end of the sound because these can change the tone of the sound a lot. We're going to put one voice of polyphony right down here, put the glide over halfway so it glides naturally. So this MIDI note right here will glide up, just like that. And then after that, we need to route oscillator 2 to 1. Oscillator 3 is going to be going to filter 2, and so is the white noise we're going to be using. So let's go over these one by one now. So we're going to go down 1 octave here. You guys can hold shift and then go up or down on the mouse wheel there to go up octaves, or you can do it individually too. Whatever you guys like. We're going to go 2 voices of unison with no detune. And then let's put the phase at 0. And this is going to start the waveform at the beginning each time. So if we have it on like this, it's going to be randomized of where it starts. But it just gives the sound a different style. But if you guys don't really know about that, I can touch on it in the future because I can talk about that a little more. But it's not a big deal. So you guys don't have to worry about that really. Then in the next oscillator here, we're going to go down an octave again. We're going to put about 7 voices of unison, keep the detune at 20, then put the phase values down as well. So this one sounds like this. Then after that, let's mute these, and then we'll go to oscillator 3, down an octave as well. We'll go 8 voices here, put around 25% of the detune, and then we'll keep the phase as well. So this one's going to be the very detune layer. And then we can just mix in some white noise. And yes, it does not sound good right now, but when we go to the effects section, we can change the sound a lot. So let's start off with some compression just like this. Make sure you guys pay attention to the attack and release because this is going to shape the sound a lot. If we have a high attack, it's generally going to make it clickier. Then we'll throw a little distortion on to make it a little dirty. We'll do a low cut, and then we'll add a little bit of reverb as well. So this is going to make it sound good just by itself, just for the example. And there's one thing we need to do actually that's going to give the sound a lot of character, and that's going to be utilizing the envelope. And we're going to be making a very short envelope just like this. So decay around 0.03, and you guys don't have to go perfect on these values. You can do whatever you'd like, whatever sounds good. And then we're going to be putting this envelope on the advanced, go to the advanced section, put it on the transpose. And this is like the master tune. And this is going to give us that really nice punchy effect. But I like to take this a step further and give us a little bit more customization. So we can drag macro 1 onto here, put it inside of the purple circle, making a little blue circle. And then we can just go up here. We can label this macro 1 punch. And then now this basically acts as like a blend or mix knob. And it doesn't sound perfect yet because I actually like putting this on the white noise as well. And this is going to put the white noise up for that 0.030 seconds. So that initial, like that's not even audible. So it's going to put it up there in like the highest value for that little bit of time, making it really bright and clicky. And then also drag the macro 1 into that envelope here, little blue circle as well. And then finally, we can dial in the filters. Next is the whistle. First, we're going to go up 2 octaves here. We're going to put a sine wave because a sine wave is it's pretty much the softest wave shape. So it's great for these whistles because there's no edges on the actual waveform. So it's really nice for these soft sounds. Then we're going to put about 7 voices of unison, 10% of detune. And then next, we're going to shape the envelope because the envelope is huge when you're creating like this kind of whistle or even real sounds in general. So when you think of a whistle, it has a little bit of attack and then a little bit of the of decay. So we can actually lower the sustain too, and then put a little release too. So when we think of a whistle, it kind of rises up and then it goes down and then it goes like to no volume. And it sounds okay, but there's a little trick that I think we could do to give it a little more character. So in the filtering here, just put this to the effects, and we'll leave this go for right now. Let's go down to the sample section. We're gonna leave it at white noise. We're gonna turn it down a little bit actually. Route this to filter 1, turn on filter 1. Then inside of filter 1, we're gonna turn on key tracking. And key tracking allows us to play along the keyboard, and the filter is gonna follow it. You guys see it move right there? And the cool thing about this is you guys see right down here, it says semitones. And then what we could do here is right click it, enter value. Then we're going to start it at 24 semitones, which is 2 octaves. And then now since it's starting at 2 octaves, we can put the resonance up, and then the resonance is going to be in key with whatever note we play. You guys see what I mean there? It's a really cool way. So it's resonating, making a little sine wave, but the white noise gives it, or makes it sound a little cooler. Then when we blend that with the sine wave. And also I forgot to mention, we'll go 1 voice of polyphony, glide, legato, always glide. Then we can go in the effects. We'll add just a little bit of chorus. Maybe a low cut on the EQ, and then we'll just do some basic reverb. And that's pretty much this song. Sometimes I like to go on the distortion, go to bit crush. We can put the drive up a little bit, put a mix knob, or put the macro on the mix knob. We'll do bit, and then we can just kind of mix this into for like a little lo-fi effect. Next are the crunch saws. So this is basically going to be 3 different saw waves with a little bit of different characteristics for each one. So for the first oscillator, we're going to put this filter 1, it's there automatically. We'll go 7 voices of unison, no detune, so it's just going to be 7 straight saw waves. And then we're going to keep the phase where it is. Then after that, for oscillator 2, we'll go 7 voices of unison, and this one's going to be one of the detuned layers. So we can just put this down a little bit. Then for the oscillator 3, we're going to go up 1 semitone here, or 1 octave here. We'll go 7 voices of unison here again. Then we'll put this a little higher, put this a little lower. Then we'll keep that at 6. So now we got this. Then let's actually put these all to filter 1, and then in the filtering section, put the resonance down to 0,
put 24 decibels on the analog section, and then put this to the right, because if we put the filter on just like this, it's gonna eliminate some of that high buzzing noise that we can get with a bunch of saw waves. So it's just another way that we can make the sound a little softer to the ears without being really harsh on that high end. And then to make these saw waves a little different, like I said before, we're going to put the bend function on here, and we can just slowly and slightly mess with the saw wave. It's just going to give us a little variation of the saw wave, so it's not just the same thing stacked on top of each other. And then for oscillator 3, let's actually try the formant, and this is going to give us a little bit of a different character. I recommend that you guys try a bunch of these and just see what works and see what doesn't, because that's the best way to learn these. And then let's just top it off with some effects. We'll go compression. Make it really fat. We'll do a little low cut EQ. Simply low cut, and then we'll actually do a little stereo delay trick, which you guys think in Serum there's the hyperdimension box, and the next best thing to do is to do the Haas effect, and this is just going to differentiate the left and right signals a little bit, making it appear wide or sound wide. So we can put these into seconds right up here, seconds, and then put these values pretty low. So we can put that at 0.014, and we'll throw this at 0.018. You guys don't have to be exact with these once again. And then put the mix at 0, macro 1 on the mix. Then we could do wide, and then we can just mix in how much we want. And then one final thing we could do for this sound is to add a little vibrato, but only to one of the oscillators. Normally I would put the LFO1 on the master tune, do make bipolar, but in this case, I just want it to be on one single oscillator, and also put it to 1/16th frequency, and then we can put this onto the fine tune right over here. So this is the fine tune, which will just do a very small amount of tuning. So next is the Summer Noon pad, which is from Summer Days. And then first we need to change the waveform here, go to the basic shapes, put a sine wave in. Then for oscillator 2, do the same exact thing. We're going to be using 2 sine waves. The second one is going to be 1 oscillator up, or 1 octave up, not 1 oscillator up. 1 octave up right there. We can mute this one for right now. And then we can put about 6 voices of unison on this one. Put the unison down a little bit. And it's a very soft pad. And like I said before, sine waves are great for these soft sounds, and it's great for layering pads as well. Next, turn on oscillator 2. Do a similar thing. We'll go 6 voices with a little bit more detune. We'll lower this down a little bit. And then now we can just mix in the oscillator 2 level. So that second oscillator is going to make a big difference for us. Then after this, we're going to put filter 2 or filter 1 on. Make sure you route oscillator 2 to filter 1. Put the resonance down, and then we can just do a little bit of this. It's just going to put a nice little dip on that high end, and it makes it sound a little better. We can put key tracking on a little bit too. And then any effects, you guys can do whatever you like here. Maybe put some chorus, maybe some EQ, a little low cut, and then some reverb. Up to you guys. A lot of these effects are personable for you guys, so it's pretty much whatever you guys want to do to make it sound cool. All right, so next we got the virus pluck. All right, so first we can initialize this. It's very, very interesting and kind of like a unique sounding pluck. I think it's a really cool way we can make this. So initialize this. First, we're gonna leave this a saw wave. We'll put 2 voices of unison here with just a little bit of detune. Then over here, we're gonna put a sine wave and same exact things. 2 voices, and we'll put a little tiny bit of detune. Let's knock the phase values down here. Once again, this isn't gonna do too much, but you don't have to worry about it. But a main part of the sound here is using both filters with both of these envelopes. So this envelope 2 is going to be shaping filter 1, and then envelope 3 is going to be shaping filter 2. 1 voice of polyphony, legato, always glide, then we can put it right like that. So now we can just go ahead and shape the envelopes. I'm going to put a little bit of attack here to make it barely rise. Maybe we can make this one like a normal pluck envelope. And then for the second one, we can do a little bit of attack and then put it down something like this. And also, I forgot to mention, this is actually important. Put filter 1, put this to 1 and 2 for oscillator 1, and then put this for 2 as well. And when we do this, we're basically just modulating the different filters, and it's just going to give us a different sound versus if we just did a single filter. You can go up an octave on both of these as well. And then in the effects section, we can make this very simple. We'll just put a little bit of chorus, EQ, and then we'll just do a little bit of reverb. And then one final thing we're going to do is do a little bit of vibrato. So we can take LFO1 here, put it into seconds, put a very short amount of seconds. We can throw this onto the master tune in the advanced setting. Right click, make bipolar, and then we can mix it in. Drag macro 1 on that little circle, and we can mix it in. And then to finish us off, we got the welcome pluck. And this is a very nice and clean and refreshing type of little saw pluck here. So to start off here, we're going to shape the envelope first. We can put the sustain down, then we can just time up the decay for how long we want the pluck to be. We can put about 6 voices of unison on here. We're going to put no detune, and then we can leave the phase where it is. For oscillator 2, we're actually going to be using a wavetable called, where is it at? Dirty Saw. And this is basically just a normal saw wave. It has a little bit of character on it. And I created this from re-synthesizing preset to wavetable. I'm not going to go into that in this video because it's kind of an interesting topic. And honestly, it just sounds like a normal saw wave, so don't worry about it too much. Then after that, turn the white noise on. Then we're going to route this to filter 1, oscillator 2, filter 1, and then route the sample to filter 2. We can turn these on. Put a high pass on this one, 24 dBs. Put this high right there. Then we're going to put that onto 24 dBs as well. Drag envelope 1 onto the filter. Then we can kind of get this going. And then now for envelope 2, put a tiny decay just like this. No sustain. Put it on the level. And then now this is going to give us a nice click. And since we high passed it, there's no low end on that white noise. So it's just going to be that nice high end. Just like that. We can mix this in. And then now to the effects, we can add some compression to make it a little bigger. Add some EQ. Let's actually put envelope, this envelope right here. We can make it similar to the first one. And then if we go to the high band right here, we put the gain down. We can make this as like a bright knob. So if we put the gain down a little bit, put envelope 3 onto the gain. So this is going to modulate it going up, and it's going to give us a nice high clicking sound we can use. So it's going to make it pretty bright, so we can drag this onto here, then label macro to bright. And then after that, let's actually use the last filter again, because there's a lot of high end now since the compressor's on. So we can drag envelope 3 onto the filter here. We'll leave it at 12 dBs here, and then we can just kind of dial this in. And this bright knob is really going to play a big difference because listen to it if we go left, and then I'll put it up gradually. So guys, this is it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. I'm going to be doing more tutorials on Vital very soon, coming up gradually. Then if you guys want to check out the entire bank, there's 113 presets in there, klingmusic.com, and there's also a demo bank as well. Check it out if you guys want to, and then I'll see you guys in the next video. See you later.